Let's start with a short view on the internet. The internet, this global phenomenon which interconnects all parts of the world. People on all parts with the Internet of Things, also machines and objects. How does it work? I already mentioned that the internet is a network of networks. There are local networks in the responsibility of a university, of like the Hasso-Plattner Institute, a local network at your home, a local network in an enterprise, and all these networks can be interconnected. They can be interconnected by means of so-called internet providers, which connect the local network to the internet. This is a local network. There are computers, and if the local network is connected to the network of the provider, then the computers here can interact, the people working on the computers here can interact with people anywhere else in the world working on a computer in a network that's connected to the internet. The connection to the internet can be by wires. One can use telephone connection, typical in such PCs at home. There are computers, and then a modem is used which helps to connect these computers via the telephone connection to an internet provider that connects these home computers also to the rest of the internet. These internet service providers are seen here with the different local area networks that are connected to them. So the different internet service providers help different owners of such local networks to get interconnected. There are stronger wires for higher speed and a higher bandwidth. This is often called backbone. That's the connection, the internet connection between the different internet service providers, and to the local networks there are belonging several computers that are connected, for example by a leased line, or here also by a dial-up connection. And if we look, for example, to the infrastructure of Germany, then you see the different internet providers that are connected to each other and that have a huge number of customers. And if we look worldwide, then the internet as a network of networks, you can see here in this illustration where we have the different important places which play a role for interconnecting the networks on the different parts of the world. Now, how it works when we send, for example, an email from one computer in one network to another computer belonging to another computer at the end of the world. So the idea is that the internet, because it does not have a homogeneous structure, the communication is organized through different incompatible physical networks, which all have their own communication protocols. So the idea is that every computer that's connected to the internet via such a local network gets a local address in the network, and it needs an address in the internet. This is so-called IP protocol address. So in the local network, the computer has an address, so that inside the local network, one can send messages and receive message from them. But when we connect these different local networks, when we interconnect them to the internet, then on this interconnection level, a new address is needed. This is a so-called IP address. When a message is sent over the internet to a computer connected to the internet, then the message gets the address of exactly the IP address of that computer. The network address is far away, not known. So in detail, this message is sent in the following way. In the first step, the message is divided and packaged into so-called internet data packets. And these packets are sent independent from each other through the internet. So in this way, if you have a long message, like if you want to send a video, then this video is fragmented into different internet packages. The internet packages, they get an address. They get the address of the receiver of this message, and then the packages are sent through the internet from the local network of the sender over different intermediate networks to the target system. This is not easy to organize, and the organization of this transport is realized by the internet protocols. I remind you that the transport goes to different local networks, and these local networks are independent from each other. Sometimes they are not compatible to each other. So the package, the internet package, needs to be wrapped around by a network of the network of the local network, has used as a payload in such a network-specific data packet, and then it has to send through the network up to the border to a next network. Inside this local network, only the network-specific addresses can be used. Only the network-specific packet format can be used. So inside the network, the internet is only inside the payload of that packages and the organization. But when the package leaves the border to another local network, then the internet address comes into the function. Because then the router, this is a system that's placed in between the different networks, receives this network package, then it looks to the payload, and the payload is the IP packet. And from the IP packet, there is, of course, important part, the IP address. And then the router, these are the intermediate systems that analyze what is the next step of, what is the next neighbored network the package has to send through. All this work is done by the network operating system, the so-called Internet Protocol Stack, that is installed on each of the routers. So at the individual network interface, the router first have to decide to which of the connected networks the internet data package has to be sent, and to reach its destination. And accordingly, then the format of the network package must be converted into a network package format that's valid in this neighboring network. So the IP package, so the network package is analyzed, then the payload is packed into a new network packet which follows the format of the neighboring network, and then this packet is sent through the neighbored network up to the moment it reaches the next boundary to a new network. Then a new router comes into place and does the same way to analyze and to make decisions how to continue to transport the internet package. So in this way, you see this network of networks can be used to transport internet packages from sender to receiver. It's quite complicated, and the internet protocols, they organize this transport. Of course, the internet has a purpose to make network applications available anywhere. And the popularity of the internet, of course, comes from the popularity of the network applications. Network applications like electronic post, email, network applications like World Wide Web, the WWW, audio or video streaming are very popular internet applications. Peer-to-peer networks. So there is a huge variety of social media, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, OpenHPI. There is a huge cosmos of internet services and applications that make it so popular, the internet. So to offer applications over the internet, distinct communication protocols must be integrated into the network operating system so that each of the services can use the internet as a transport media. If we look to the internet today, there are a few characteristics that make it clear what a huge progress it provides. There is a faster access to all kinds of information from all areas, from all places in the world, and there are quite low communication costs. Internet makes it possible to integrate very different media data, for example, text, audio, video, and use internet to transport this media. There are a huge number of innovative business applications, of new business models making use of the internet. If you think on online banking, if you think on all the services and all the offers in e-commerce, e-government, the emerging internet changes all parts of our life by means of these applications, but also by bringing the users on the different places of the world much closer to each other. An email can be sent and received within a second and reach another part of the world. So the internet is changes how we communicate, how we process information, and how we perform business. And this general change, often mentioned and often called as the digital transformation, this is what characterizes our time and work. What we also learn and see when we use the internet, the national borders or the different cultures do not matter. We can bridge them, and this has a lot of good aspects, but there are also some difficulties. When we come to the point of cybercrime, so we see all the regulations are done on a national level. But the internet is a global phenomenon, and it cannot be ruled with national regulations. Also, the number of people that is using the internet is increasing in the number and also in the variety of knowledge. So non-technical users can use the internet, for example, can use the World Wide Web simply by click on a link. So no complicated comments need to be remembered. Click and then this information or the service is started. One can use the internet in a personal network. There are a huge number of public access points in libraries, in cafes, in airports and other places. So internet is everywhere. You know this from your smartphone, from radio, you can receive TV, even household devices can be controlled via the internet. And besides the internet, intranets play an important role. Intranets are very similar to internet, but the difference is that the intranet is used inside a company, inside an organization. There are borders which are controlled for the information exchange with the external world. But they use, for this internal application, they use the internet protocols. They use a technique of internet working. So this usage, of course, for individual, for isolated company networks, make it possible that techniques attacking internet technology also can be applied against such intranets and in such intranets. We see a huge increase in the popularity of mobile applications of the internet. Police car, medical services, the humans themselves, all are connected by means of the mobile internet, by means of more and more powerful smartphones that make it possible to use computational processing power, to use services which are far abroad. And of course, there is a risk of loss of confidential information, because this internet is very attractive for cyber criminals. It's very attractive for hackers. It's very interesting for Secret Service, for competitors, to get access to the information, to get access to the computer station inside local networks. So the huge advantage of the internet also invites cyber criminals for attacking and misusing this global network.